India has overtaken China to become the world's third strongest air power. That's a huge claim, and if true, it changes conversations about Asia's strategic balance. But like every big military stat, the truth lives in the details. In this video, we'll unpack the rankings, explain the methodology, compare other indicators, examine why India moved up and where it still lags, and show what all that really means for the subcontinent and the world. Let's dive in. The ranking everyone's talking about comes from the World Directory of Modern Military Aircraft or WDMMA. In the WDMMA 2025 Global Air Powers list, each air service is given a true val rating, a composite score that mixes fleet numbers, platform capability, modernization, logistics, and operational readiness. In the table, the Indian Air Force shows a true val rating of 69.4, while the Chinese air services are listed at 63.8, placing India ahead of China's in WDMMA's calculation. The WDMMA list also assigns very high scores to the US services and to Russia, so the top of WDMMA's table looks different than a simple country-by-country list. WDMMA's true val is one methodology. It weights factors the site considers important: quality of fighters, number of support assets, aircraft age and upgrades, AWACS and tanker fleets, pilot training and logistics. But rankings are not objective laws of nature. They are models. Change the assumptions and the order can change. Other respected metrics show a more mixed picture. For instance, Global Firepower and industry data like FlightGlobal and the World Air Force directories emphasizes sheer fleet size and comprehensive national military power. On raw aircraft counts, China still fields more total aircraft and combat jets than India, and many large open source databases place China ahead when you focus on quantity and integrate force structure. For example, published 2025 data by Fleet Tallies show China's military aviation inventory remains significantly larger than India's. So, why the discrepancy? Because quality versus quantity matters, and different analysts weigh them differently. WDMMA's calculation appears to favor factors where India recently improved: modernization programs, diverse multi-role fleets, and increased indigenous production and upgrades. Let's look at what changed for India. Fleet modernization and diversity. The IAF operates a mix of upgrades: Su-30MKIs, imported Rafales, Mirage 2000 upgrades, and increasing numbers of light combat aircraft Tejas, a combination that improves overall multi-role capability and readiness. WDMMA's IAF page lists an active inventory of about 1,716 aircraft, with a balanced mix of fighters, helicopters, and trainers, and highlights modernization projects that raise India's capability scores. Indigenous production and sustainment. Hindustan Aeronautics Limited and India's aerospace sector has scaled up production lines for Tejas and trainers, and the Nashik facility has been refocused to build more indigenous jets, a signal of longer-term force sustainability and supply chain control. That domestic base weighs positively in qualitative ratings. Force readiness, training and exercise. The IAF's frequent large exercises, upgrades to avionics and sensors, and investments in tanker and AWACS capabilities all improve operational reach. Items ranking systems like WDMMA explicitly reward operational upgrades to legacy platforms, programs to retrofit Su-30MKIs, phase out older MiG-21s and integrate better weapons, and sensors boost effective combat power even without huge new purchases. But it's not all blue skies. India's challenges include squadron strength shortfall. Long-standing targets for squadron numbers remain unfilled. Current operational squadrons are fewer than desired. This affects surge capacity. Engine, big ticket and stealth gaps. India's heavier dependence on imported engines and the still in development advanced medium combat aircraft means some niche high-end capabilities are future prospects, not present facts. Numbers versus regional scale. China's industrial base, carrier programs, and larger strategic envelope give the People's Liberation Army Air Force scale advantages that matter for sustained, high-intensity operations. Many data sets still rank China above India on overall military power. So, what does WDMMA's ranking really mean? Two things. First, it recognizes measurable gains in India's air capabilities: more modern jets, better sustainment, and a maturing domestic aerospace industry. Second, it does not mean India has magically matched China in every dimension. Whether India is third strongest depends on the lens. If you use WDMMA's true val, yes, India edges China. But if you measure by total aircraft, industrial depth, or some other indices, China remains ahead. News outlets that report WDMMA's result are reflecting that specific model's outcome, not an uncontested global consensus. For India, the practical takeaway is clear. Modernization programs, domestic production, and training investments are paying off in reputation and capability. That helps deterrence, builds partnerships, and increases India's negotiating weight in regional security dialogues. For the region, a more capable IAF raises the strategic stakes and increases the need for clear crisis management mechanisms between nuclear armed neighbors. For analysts and viewers, the takeaway is to read rankings as one input among many, not as definitive proof of dominance. In short, the headline that India has surpassed China is true as a reflection of WDMMA's 2025 True Val model, and it shines a spotlight on India's recent progress. But it is not a universal fact across all measures of air power. Always check the methodology, compare other reputable sources, and ask what precisely is being measured. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. And leave a comment. Do you think India's progress will continue, or are there gaps that still worry you?